Welcome back to the Slide Job Podcast, or welcome to the Slide Job Podcast. I am your host, Colton Smith, otherwise known as Left Turn Central. I'm here joined by some friends of mine and producer Josh Northcutt, along with co-host Ben Miller.
How you doing, guys?
We have been around, we've been doing podcasting for a while, but we've decided to enter a focus into NASCAR because it's such a beautiful sport. Got this old channel. I figured I was looking to start it up anyways. Why not start it up with a podcast? So very excited to get things started today. We got an off-season to review. We got some bold predictions for the 2025 season, including our championship picks. And we are introducing the Fast Five, which I think will be a very fun little series to follow throughout the season. But before we get into all of that, how have you guys been?
Not too bad. School, and then when I'm not at school, I'm working. So
yeah. Sounds good. For myself, pretty much just been working the whole time. Started going to church this year. One of my New Year's resolutions that I wanted to do. So that's definitely been fun. Watching a little bit of college basketball when I can. But overall, just staying busy, having a good time, not worrying about school anymore. So that's definitely a blessing. So what about you, Colton?
Oh yeah, I've been just doing pretty much nothing for the past month. I'm finally getting a job here in the next week and a half. So I actually got a pre-hire appointment soon. So
First of all, though, I just want to say congratulations. You definitely earned that, my friend, and you're going to do great things over there in North Dakota. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to get started out there.
Yeah, and Josh, I just want to say you're doing a great job with your sports writing, though. Just keep going, man.
I appreciate it.
Yep, absolutely.
Be sure to check out Josh on TWSN, doing great work over there. Editing Colton. Remember to put that link in the description. But we got a lot of off-season review to go to. And we pretty much have to sum the whole thing up in a little 15-minute segment. So let's start with the silly season recap. We got some new faces and new places, old faces and new places. The new ones, Riley Herbst is now in the 35 for 23XI. Shane Van Giersbergen is now full-time in the 88 for Trackhouse Racing. And then some moves from some familiar faces. Michael McDowell is now driving the 71 for Spire Motorsports. Chase Briscoe is in the 19 for Joe Gibbs Racing. Josh Berry is now in the 21 for Wood Brothers. Noah Gragson, I didn't realize this until the Clash, is driving the 4 at Front Row. I knew he was at Front Row, but he's driving the 4. Same font as Kevin Harvick's. I like it. I like it a lot. I was pleasantly surprised when I saw that.
Yeah.
And then Justin Haley in the 7 with Rodney Childers as his crew chief. I got some things planned for them. Ty Dillon is in the 10. And Zane Smith now in the 34 had a great start in the duels. Ryan Preece is in the 60 for RFK. This is really the last chance for him in the Cup Series. And Cole Custer, it pays off to have a dad working with Haas. It's a good buddy with Haas because he's in the 41 now full time. So gets a second chance. And to be fair, he's earned it with his time in the Xfinity Series. So I want to go ahead and throw it to you guys. Which one of these off-season acquisitions, moves, whatever you want to call them, are you most excited for, starting with Josh?
Obviously for me, it's Briscoe. Excited. That's the easy layup, slam dunk, whatever you want to say. Chase has always been showing his talent, and he kind of got held back being at Stewart-Haas Racing. So now in a car with Joe Gibbs, which is arguably the best, if not second best team in all of NASCAR, it will be good to see. And he himself has mentioned the pressure is now on him to succeed, which he's now only gone out and, just won the qualifying round of Daytona 500, no big deal. So he'll be starting from the pole. And then the other one that I'm really looking forward to is, like you said, is Haley-Childress relationship and just seeing how that builds, because there's always been that talent in the 7. I was always a LaJoie guy, so I never really doubted that. But now you combine a great crew chief, maybe top 5 in the sport, you could say. I definitely am interested to see the season Haley has in store.
Yeah, for myself.
Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
So for myself, I'm looking at Ryan Preece. I mean, I feel like with him joining RFK, though, I feel like this is going to be the perfect time to show what he can do in the Cup Series, though, because when he got to the Cup Series, though, he was with JTT Doherty Racing at first, and then he joined Stewart-Haas Racing at the wrong time. But like, I believe in this guy, though. He's a talented race car driver. I mean, just give him some competitive equipment, though, and he is going to run up front and compete for wins. I mean, we saw it with him when he was at Joe Gibbs Racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. We've seen it in the Truck Series as well. But now that RFK is taking a step in the right direction, though, I feel like Ryan Preece, he's definitely going to be a driver that I'm definitely going to keep an eye on for sure. And I feel like he's going to do great things in 2025. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's a great point on Ryan Preece. I feel like he has never really been given a fair shot in the Cup Series. JTG is always a team that just kind of is getting by, and I feel like Preece did good there towards the end, and he got that job at Stewart-Haas. But there is such a weird aura, not only with that team, but also just specifically the 41 team itself. Like, ever since Kurt Busch left, and I feel like there's kind of an argument. Me and my buddy Chinner were actually talking about it a couple weeks ago. Like, I feel like that Kurt left for a reason. Like, he left on his own volition. He wasn't kicked out or anything like that. And maybe he saw like what direction that team and that organization was going and decided to jump ship before it got too bad. And I feel like Ryan Preece, it was pretty obvious that he did not have any correlation with his teammates. There was a terrible culture going on there. And I think this is the fair shot that Preece has. Does he take advantage of it? Does he not? That's what we'll have to find out this season.
Yep. Absolutely.
But another one I would like to point out is the Josh Berry to the 21. He'll be the probably. It just reminds me of Matt Benedetto going to that ride. Matt Benedetto got the most out of that ride. Did not have as much Penske help as Ryan Blaney did when he won a race there. So I feel like getting a guy like Josh Berry, who's a wheelman in there, I really hate to be so down on Harrison Burton, but he just didn't. It just wasn't the fit for him, and I hope he figures it out eventually. But I feel like Josh Berry is a wheelman. He will definitely be a threat, especially at short tracks. And I would not sleep on him this season. I think he could definitely make some noise. I would additionally say Noah Gragson at a front row team that's going up. He impressed me a lot with his performance at Stewart-Haas. Kind of fell off towards the end of the season, but had a really great start to the year. So I think a lot of this, as it is in most seasons, we will be able to tell in the first 5 to 7 races what this looks like. But is there any other silly season moves that you guys want to bring up?
I just wanted to ask you guys a quick question, and no really thought about it, just the first name. So for front row, who is the best driver, Gregerson, Gilliland, or Zane Smith?
For myself, I would definitely point towards Todd Gilliland. I mean, we've seen flashes of him last year in the 2024 season, especially on the super speedway racetracks. So, and you know how front row is, though. They always bring a lot of great race cars to Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta, just super speedways in general, though. And he's got a lot of experience, and looking forward to seeing more of that in 2025. So I would lean towards Todd Gilliland.
It's a very close race between Todd Gilliland and Noah Gragson, and I think you can really go either way. I kind of lean Gragson. I think he has the most upside. Todd Gilliland was very rushed to the Cup Series, and there was a time where we thought that he didn't have a future at all. And he proved, especially last season, that he absolutely deserves to be in the Cup Series and maybe deserves a better ride than front row. So I would say Todd Gilliland probably could be just as good. It's really what we're going to find out this season. It really is either way. And I'm excited to see how that little driver battle, how they maybe raise each other's level of competition there. But don't sleep on McDowell at the 71 as well. That's another one that we maybe is going under the radar. Right. He could sneak out a win for Spire, as well as I think Childers and Haley. But we do have some other offseason stuff to get to here really quick. As the rule changes, we have the open exemption provisional damaged vehicle policy update and waiver changes. So it's nothing that really is going to affect. The biggest one is definitely the damaged vehicle policy update, to where now you can go into the garage after failing the damaged vehicle. I guess it's called the policy. So so like if you used to be 7-minute timer, if you got in a wreck and that timer went up, you're still repairing, you're done. Now you can go to the garage, and somehow save your day, but you do have to stay in pit road for that entirety of the 7 minutes before you do that. So I like this. I think it's something that should have been around for a while now, but what are your guys' thoughts?
Go ahead, Ben.
I mean, overall though, I like it because like in a way though, last year it just didn't even make any sense. Like if your car's still if it's still running, then why are they taking you out of the race? It makes absolutely no sense. I mean, are you out of contention to win the race? I mean, yeah, but obviously regardless if you're 6 or 7 laps down, for example, though, you can still try to salvage some playoff points and overall just try to get as many points as you can. So I'm glad that NASCAR made this rule change because a lot of fans, a lot of drivers were not happy with it though. And it was just so inconsistent. I mean, just looking at that 28 car pileup last year at Talladega, I had a feeling they need to make a change. I mean, just seeing how Josh Berry was upset in his interview about how I think he mentioned John Hunter Nemechek was doing burnouts, getting rubber all over the safety crews and doing all that. So overall, yeah, glad that they made that change for sure.
Yeah, because that was my thing. I didn't remember if it was it Briscoe or Berry that had the incident.
Berry.
So yeah, that alone just screamed that it needed a change. So I'm glad to see that NASCAR actually, took consideration and made the right call in this one.
Yeah, and also another thing with Josh Berry though was I believe it was the opening lap of the playoff race at Kansas where he just spun out and he had four flat tires. He couldn't make it back to pit road, but the car wasn't even damaged, and NASCAR just said, "I don't care. Your race is done. You're in the garage. Your race is done." Which, when I heard that was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So, yeah. Just thank you NASCAR for making that change, and hopefully in 2025 it's more and more consistent, and we don't have to deal with any issues with it.
Yeah, it's just kind of one of those things where I don't really understand why it was the other way in the first place. Like we're really just talking about some cars. As long as they're running minimum speed, I don't really see what the problem is. Yep. And you're talking about cars that are like instead of finishing 38th, you might finish 32nd. Not really big in the overall construct of the race, but glad we got that fixed. The one that's really controversial this week, but won't really mean anything after this week, is the open exemption provisional. It's why Helio Castroneves is running as the 41st driver in the race. It'll be the first time I believe the field is over 40 and since the last charter agreement. So
I believe 2015, if I'm not mistaken.
It's like 15 or 16 somewhere in there.
Right.
So I mean, honestly, I don't really see that big a deal. If Helio Castroneves is competing in a NASCAR race, that brings eyes to NASCAR. I think they should have a right to bring those eyes to NASCAR. And I get why Truex called it a slap in the face, but at the end of the day, it's just one race, and it's not like they can just bring in whoever they want for any race.
That was my thing. Anytime you can get more viewers, especially with the ratings being down, I think throughout the season is not a bad thing. So I see no issue with it.
Yeah, I mean, overall though, it did spark a little bit of controversy though, but in a way, I don't have any issues with it. I mean, like with Helio Castroneves, for example, he's going to be in the Daytona 500, and like he's a 4-time Indy 500 champ though, and he's coming to NASCAR. Obviously, I feel like you mentioned, Colton, that's going to be a step in the direction in our sport, and I feel like it gets more people more engaged. So in a way, I don't really have that much of an issue with it.
Yeah. And then the waiver changes. I wrote that down, but I'm not sure I took the notes as Josh's door moves. You got a ghost back there?
Yeah, it is my roommate.
What's up? No problem. So then we got the new booth is what I was going to move to wrap up the warm-up lap, as we call it. We got Amazon and TNT coming into NASCAR, and with that, the new booth led by Dale Jr. And then along with that, it was announced that Steve Letarte would be reuniting with them, along with that of Adam Alexander, who was kind of rising in the ranks in Fox. So there's still some spots open, and there's been rumors of Carl Edwards potentially slotting in, and I'm excited. I doubt that would happen, but he didn't say no. He didn't say no to a lot of things in his Hall of Fame tour, and that was one of them. I hope it is. But with those open spots, who would you guys like to see fill?
I don't know if I got an answer for that one.
Yeah, I don't think I do either.
I mean, I like the group that they got there, and I was kind of distracted, so I do want to apologize about that. But no, I like the connection that all three of them kind of have, and as long as Junior doesn't, put his hands on one of them, we should be fine. I was watching a clip of when Waltrip punched one of the guys, and he didn't take too likely to it. So it could, yeah. But
mm-hmm.
I mean, overall, though,
I'd love to see Alan Bestwick back.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a crime he has not been commentating NASCAR since ESPN left.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that, Colton, I mean, growing up, I love watching Alan Bestwick broadcast NASCAR. I mean, obviously, he's still in it today, though. He's the PA announcer at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Obviously, He does a great job with that. When the SRX was still a thing, though, he
did those. Yeah.
Yeah, he did a great job keeping the audience engaged on what was going on, though. So overall, though, I just feel like he's such an underrated announcer, though. It would be nice to see him back in the NASCAR world for sure.
Yeah, but moving along, we are going to fly the flag now. This is kind of like for anybody who's watched the Norse Benchwarmers, it's like our 2-minute warning, except we got it earlier in the broadcast. So I'll go ahead and take it for this week, and then maybe Josh, you can take it from weeks future. Because the difference with this one is you have a green flag, you have a yellow flag, and you have a red flag. So if it's green flag, you totally think this will happen. A maybe is a yellow flag, and a hell no is a red flag. So first off, we have, is Chase Briscoe a Final Four threat? This was a question that was posed to me after he got the poll, which is a very presumptuous thing, but honestly something that I thought was possible before the season started. What do you guys think?
I mean, overall, though, I think there is potential that he can make it to Phoenix and be a championship 4 threat. I mean, he won the Daytona 500 pole on Sunday, so that's definitely a step in the right direction. And I mean, we all know Chase Briscoe is an amazing race car driver, and this is the best equipment he's had. So overall, though, I honestly would not be surprised.
For me, I'd throw the yellow flag out there. Just a little cautious about it because it is year one. The chemistry may need a little time to build. It is just a Daytona 500 qualifying. It's not the actual race. Now, he goes out and wins the race. Okay, we may need to throw the green flag and say absolutely. But I'm going to pump the brakes just a little bit on the Chase Briscoe train, I guess you want to say, and throw the yellow flag on that one.
Yeah, I'm waving the yellow as well. I think there is a chance. I think Briscoe honestly does have the talent to pull off a Larson-esque season, not wins-wise, but just in terms of maybe being the best, just going off on his new team because he's in better equipment now. But I wouldn't go as far to say that's a for sure certainty. Next up, this is one I really want to see. Will Junior Motorsports ever be a full-time Cup team? Not this season, maybe not next season, but do you ever see them becoming a full-time Cup Series team? Ben?
I can definitely see it for sure. I mean, obviously they do a great job in the NASCAR Xfinity Series developing young drivers. I mean, in the past we've seen it with Chase Elliott won an Xfinity title along with William Byron in 2017.
Mm-hmm. And Tyler Reddick all in the same 3 years.
Yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about Tyler Reddick. But I think overall though, as well as competitive as they are in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, though, I feel like they can be competitors in the NASCAR Cup Series as well. So, I feel like eventually it's going to happen.
I 100% agree. Throw the green flag as much as you want. No doubt about that one. The sport needs Junior around as much as possible, and him having his own team in the Cup Series would be very, very beneficial for the sport. And plus, I think it will probably happen around the time maybe Zilich gets called up to the Cup Series. I don't know. Is he technically signed with Hendricks?
Yes.
Or is he just
Or wait, no, he's with Trackhouse.
Right. Yeah.
Trackhouse has the deal on him. So.
Okay, so I guess that would be a little bit hesitant of maybe how that all works, because I'm assuming he'll take over for Suarez eventually whenever Suarez gets let go.
As soon as next year,
Suarez also shares the fan base of Mexico City and everything else that's coming with that. So that'll be pending to see. But yeah, I definitely think eventually we will see Junior back in the Cup Series as a owner.
I'm waving the green, and simple enough. My answer is just to look on his face, the joy. First of all, how nervous he was going into that race, the nerves throughout the race, and the joy, like I said, on his face at the end of that race. The joy on Kelly Earnhardt's face. I mean, she is the one that has really, like, Junior is the face. She's the workhorse. And just seeing the happiness on two of those faces, yeah, they want this to happen more often. And all I can imagine is the look on his face of Junior Motorsports winning a championship. We're a long way from that, but if that day were to ever come, man.
I mean, when you look at last night, though, when, like you mentioned, Colton, the joy on Kelly and Dale Jr.'s faces, and along with Justin Allgaier, though, for them to make the Daytona 500, though, that is the step in the right direction. And, just the beginning of something special that we can potentially see in years to come.
All right, last question here, and just give me a quick answer here: green, yellow, or red? Does Penske win their 4th championship in a row?
Red, no.
Red, no.
Yeah, okay. I agree. Red, no.
Red. I am waving that green flag until I see otherwise, because until I am proven, so long as a Penske driver makes it to Phoenix, they're going to have the fastest car. So maybe I think their best chance of that not happening is someone gets eliminated in the round of 8, but then you got Martinsville, which Logano and Blaney are both good at. So I'm pretty convinced that they will win that 4th championship. And until the cars significantly change, it will not go any other way. But hopefully I'm wrong. Unless Blaney wins. I don't care if Blaney wins. But anyways, we're going to move along to our season predictions. So we're going to start with our playoff field. And this is going to tie in with our Fast Five. Our Fast Five is going to be kind of like a point system that we kind of follow along with. There's going to be some other opportunities for points. These preseason predictions are one of them. So we did all agree on some members of the playoff field. I believe it was 12 that we came up to, and give or take, I guess, with how we were doing. But basically, with every driver that we pick to make it into the playoffs, that do make it in the playoffs, we will receive 5 bonus points at that point. So that could be huge if you get a couple of those right. So anywho, let's go ahead and get right into it with the ones. I'll go ahead and list off the ones that we all agreed on, and then I'll let you guys give the ones that are different. So first off, we have Kyle Larson in the 5, Chase Elliott, William Byron, Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe we all agreed on, the 20 of Christopher Bell. We have the 12 of Ryan Blaney, Christopher Buescher. Gosh, I shouldn't have put those two so good. Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace, and the 1 of Ross Chastain. We also ended up agreeing on Shane Van Gisbergen, I believe, just to get a road course win and get in, maybe not necessarily on point. So that leaves, for me, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 spots open. And I think that is the case for everybody. So I'll go ahead and let Ben get started here. Just go ahead and give 2 of the ones that are we haven't mentioned, and then Josh can take it.
All right. So one of my spots, I have Brad Keselowski. I mean, coming off a great 2024 season, though, I feel like RFK, they're stepping in the right direction, though. I feel like he and Chris Buescher are going to continue the momentum. So, give me Brad K.
And one more, Ben.
Oh, one more. I got Ty Gibbs. I mean, we've seen him up in the front a lot last year. He's been so close to getting that first win, though. I mean, he has good qualifying, though, but sometimes the results, they weren't even there. And I feel like that's going to be a turnaround this year. So I got Ty Gibbs in.
For me, 2 are Alex Bowman and Kyle Busch. I think on talent alone, they will get in. Kyle Busch missing, not winning a race last year is going to send a little bit of motivation through his bones. And I know I kind of favor Kyle Busch a little bit, obviously as a childhood RCR guy. So I do think eventually Kyle Busch will find a win this year and get into the playoffs. And Alex Bowman, just obvious, it's a Hendricks car. They're going to find a way to get all four in.
Yeah, I pretty much, I'll just go ahead and copy those two off of Josh. I also have Kyle Busch in there. I think with how well he finished last season and obviously it's Kyle Busch. The one thing I will point out, a lot of people are saying he's going to be more motivated. He's going to be this and that. Kyle Busch is always motivated. Kyle Busch is always giving it 110%. Like that RCR is the issue here. It always is RCR being the issue. So go ahead and give me that. I think he wills himself to win. I also have Alex Bowman making it. I think Alex Bowman goes off. I have it as a formality. He will be in the playoffs. I think considering he was the best driver in the Cup Series throughout the playoffs, just coming down to a Roval penalty, for some reason they decided to put weight on there. He could have very well been in that Final Four, and I think he repeats that feat and maybe finally makes it to that elusive Final Four this year. Maybe I'm getting a little too ahead of myself, but that's what I got there. I'll go ahead and list off my other two, and then we'll go back through the list. I have Ty Gibbs, which I think Ben had, and I have Justin Haley getting in there. I'm not really sure where. I'm not really sure how, but the last time Justin Haley ran for Spire Motorsports, they made it to the playoffs, and I think he repeats that with Rodney Childers as his crew chief. I don't know where they'll figure it out. I think either he'll be just incredibly consistent, which he's proven he can do, or he will find a win somewhere. So completely random, completely dark horse take, but hey, here we are. And I'll go ahead and throw it to you. Who's my other one? Oh, Ty Gibbs. I think he's going to find a win. I think he's way too talented of a driver not to get a win this year, and maybe even multiple. I think it'll be like a Chase Elliott type year where he just finally breaks through. But I think he does at least get one win, which secures him in the playoffs. So, Ben, who do you got?
All right. So my third driver in the playoffs is I got Ryan Preece. I mean, I know we talked about it earlier. I feel like this is the best opportunity for Ryan Preece in his Cup Series career. This is obviously going to be the best equipment that he's going to be in, though. And like I mentioned before, as long as you give this guy some competitive equipment, though, he will go out and win some races. And I feel like, in a way, we're going to see that this year. And Brad Keselowski's got that team rolling in the right direction. So give me Ryan Preece. And my fourth and final one, I got Todd Gilliland. I feel like he's going to be a factor on some of these super speedways that are coming up, like Daytona, Talladega, and Atlanta. He's obviously super competitive at those types of racetracks. But and also, I feel like like last year, we saw Harrison Burton pull off a huge upset at Daytona, getting his first career win. I feel like Todd Gilliland, this is the year he gets his first win. So give me Todd Gilliland.
I like those. I like those a lot. I'll even add to the Ryan Preece that I truly believe you. I think he does. I think there is also maybe a world that he just doesn't have what we saw in him in the Xfinity Series, but I saw what you saw in the Xfinity Series. I think there's talent somewhere in there, and I think it could definitely be realized. I think he could win a short track program. Roush has a great short track program. Ford has a great short track program. He showed glimpses at Stewart-Haas of his short track ability. So, yeah, I think I see it. I think that's not many people may agree, but I do.
Yeah. So last two for me, Brad Keselowski, can't really argue it. There's a reason it's RFK. He's not going to have himself in the playoffs. And then the last guy is AJ Allmendinger. Even though Colleague is a 2-car team, the money is going to go into AJ. AJ is their glory. He is their baby. He is their guy.
He's
back in the 16 where he belongs, and he will find a way to get in the playoffs, whether it's winning multiple road races or maybe stealing one of these super speedways, because he tends to be up front during the race.
Yeah,
and whatnot. So I definitely see AJ finding a way into the playoffs.
I like that, and I hope it's true. And AJ deserves as many Cup wins as he can get, man. Yeah, I always love seeing him win.
Yeah, I mean, overall though, with all the road courses that they added to the schedule this year, though, there's no doubt in my mind that AJ Allmendinger is going to be a contender to win a couple of those races. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Him and Shane going at it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and move along to our final 4 picks. We got all of those out, right? The round of 16.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So for our final 4, go ahead and I'll let Ben start, and we'll go ahead and go around. Just give 2 to start. And
2 to start. Okay.
Yeah, just like the same thing.
For my championship 4 picks, my first 2, I'm going with William Byron and Tyler Reddick. I mean, I feel like these guys are going to pick up where they left off at the end of the 2024 season. I mean, they're obviously super competitive, and yeah, I feel like it's going to be a good year for those guys for sure. And William Byron, he's been he's been in the last 2 championship 4 appearances, and I feel like in a way he is going to get back there. So give me William Byron and Tyler Reddick.
For me, it is Byron and Bell. Byron, Hendrick's car. They always seem to find a way to get 2 in. So I do just like the 24 being the lead guy, quote unquote, the face outside as a certain other individual, hint, hint. And then Christopher Bell. It's time for that team to break through. Sorry, Colton. It's time for that team to break through and get back. They were in the Final 4, I believe, back-to-back years. Missed last year.
They should have been in it last year, but
yeah. So
Eddie Hendrick.
Correct. Yeah. So that's my thing. I like Christopher Bell to find his way back into the playoff. So Byron and Bell are 2 for me.
I'll go ahead and put the heavy hitter first. Alex Bowman is in my final 4, gentlemen. Alex Bowman is in my final 4. I think he goes off this year. I really liked what I saw. And I don't know if that's winning races or if that's winning a regular season championship, but I do think Alex Bowman makes it to the Final 4. I think he puts it together. I think he's got a great crew chief. Like, he's finally got a full year of health under him. He's got the similar injury to that of Denny Hamlin. If you look at Denny Hamlin's stats, those 2 years after, he struggled. He looked worse than Bowman did last year. So I think it's very fair, the recovery that he's gotten. And hopefully he's able to stay healthy. He had a really rough wreck last night, so hopefully that didn't shake anything up. And I think if that's the case, Bowman is in there. And I'll go with Bell. I think Bell always is going to at least put himself in position to make that Final 4 regardless of the year. And so I think it's a pretty safe bet that he gets in there. And hopefully we don't have to leave it up to NASCAR to decide.
Yep.
Ben, your last 2?
Yep. My last 2, my first one is Christopher Bell. I mean, arguably the best driver in 2024 last year. Like we mentioned before, though, in a way, I feel like he got screwed over at Martinsville. Yeah, overall, I feel like he's going to have a great 2025 season. And my last one, I'm going with Denny Hamlin. He's another driver that I obviously got my eyes on in 2025. I mean, he was one of the best last year, running up front, consistency-wise. And I feel like now that he's at maybe at the end of his career, though, I feel like he definitely has a shot to make it back to Phoenix.
So no Blaney, huh?
No, I do not.
Wow. So for me, Blaney is in there. He's the face of Penske. Penske will find a way to get a car into the Final 4, as Colton always says. That's what they do. And then the last person is the most obvious one. It is the best driver in the world in NASCAR, and that's Kyle Larson. There's no other explanation needed.
Yeah. I mean, best driver in the world. Don't blame me for picking him. I don't have him, though. I have Ryan Blaney sneaking his way in, probably winning at Martinsville because he's really good at that track. And then I have Chase Elliott for no biased reason at all. But no, I
What's
just
that 9 stand for again?
This is like an Xfinity team, but no. Anyways, I think I really like what I'm seeing from Chase. He's another one that's been injured. He's really wanting to prove what he's got. It's been a while since we've seen what he's got, and he's looking to prove that this year. And starting off the season with the Bowman Clash win, I think that's a great way to start the year. And I think that's a statement that starts maybe a multi-win year. Same thing with Bowman. Like Bowman, I think he could either win a lot of races or just be really consistent and win the regular season and then go off in the playoffs. But we'll see. That brings us to at least one bold prediction for the 2025 season. I guess Alex Bowman in the Final 4 is probably pretty bold. But I think additionally, I'm going to stick with Alex Bowman on this one. Give me Bowman to make the to win the regular season. I think that's still considered. Is that considered a bold? Would you say?
I would say absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. All right, for myself, I'm going with SVG. I feel like he's going to get at least 3 wins this year.
Okay.
And like I mentioned before, like all the new road courses, or I wouldn't say all the new road courses, but all the road courses that they're adding onto the schedule, though. I mean, ever since SVG got to NASCAR, though, those have been his absolute playground. I mean, you saw it in the Cup Series. You saw it in the Xfinity Series last year with 2 wins at Portland, and I believe he won at the Glen last year. Overall, though, I feel like, I think that he's going to get at least 3 wins this year.
All right, so I do have 3 just to give you a heads up, Colton, if we have time for them.
Yeah, go right ahead.
The first one is there will be a record-setting 20 different drivers winning a race this year. Okay. I truly believe this season is wide open. I know you obviously have the Gibbs, you have Hendricks, but I do like the additions of Front Row, Spire. I like Legacy, Ben. I think Eric Jones is going to find his way into victory lane this year.
Yeah,
if that's my bold take. I'll throw him out there.
Should have won it last night.
Yeah. So
yeah, he should already be in victory lane.
Yeah. So I think there will be 20 different, because 3 times I looked it up last night. 3 times in history of NASCAR, 19 different drivers have won. The last one was in 2021, I believe. So I do strongly believe 20 drivers will win and find their way into victory lane.
All right.
That's not a far out take. I will mention that my second one was actually Ryan Preece making the playoffs off a win. So we kind of talked about that, but that was the other one I had prepared. Do you have 2 more? Or did you say yours?
Ben, do you have any more? Or?
Yeah. I think I gave this away in the earlier segment. I got Todd Gilliland winning his first career race this year.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And then, Ty Gibbs will not win a race this year. Not sure if that's a hot take or not hot take. However, Carson Hocevar will find himself in victory lane and be the one to represent Spire. Not get into the playoffs, though, because how many people have won. But Carson Hocevar will pick up his first victory before Ty Gibbs does.
All right. Yeah, actually.
That's crazy, yeah. I'm not too out there.
Yeah, I actually like that a lot, though. I mean, ever since Hocevar got into the Cup Series, though, he adapted really well with this Gen 7 race car, and I feel like he's definitely going to be up front a lot this year. So looking forward to it.
And then the last one, it was obvious from the playoffs, is Joey Logano will miss the playoffs and not win a race in 2025. I'm all aboard the hate train.
God, I hope so.
Let it fill my veins. Yeah. Absolutely, Colton. I don't know if you're rubbing off on me or what, but after the luck he had last year, it's eventually got to run out, and it's this year.
You know what, Josh? You often make these great universes that I wish were true, and I'm still waiting for one of them to become true. But hopefully,
no kidding, right?
We have hope for it. He's going to win the 500, right? Like he's just going to pull that one straight out of his ass.
I hate you, Colton.
There's no worse feeling than going a whole season and Joey Logano winning a championship like that. But sorry, Ben, go ahead.
No, you're good. But I kind of like that. I like that prediction. Joey Logano missing the playoffs. I mean, when you go back to the 2024 regular season, though, up until Nashville, Logano, it was getting close to playoff time, and before that Nashville race, though, he was out. He was I believe 17th or 18th. Up until that point, he was not having a good year. So, I feel like,
I still don't know how that car did not run out of fuel.
Yeah, I know. The guy finds a way to win.
Voodoo magic is all I have to say. But hey, 2025 is the year of voodoo magic not winning, as we saw with the Chiefs. But lastly, this is for 100 Fast 5 bonus points. By the way, the final 4 picks, for each final 4 pick, you get 30 Fast 5 bonus points. But if you get the champion right, you get 100 points here. And I'll go ahead and give mine because I'm going basic. I think Ryan Blaney gets his second championship. I just can't bet against Penske at Phoenix until I see that something else has changed. This will be a lot easier after that first Phoenix race, I think, but we'll see.
All right. Ben? For myself, I'm actually going with Christopher Bell. I mean, He should have made it to Phoenix last year, though. He was arguably the most consistent. Well, I wouldn't say the most consistent driver, though, but he was consistent enough to
right up there. Yeah.
But I feel like this is going to be a bounce back year for Christopher Bell. And if he does advance to Phoenix, though, and you know how the guy runs at Phoenix, though, he's always up front, and he's going to be a threat to win. So give me Christopher Bell.
Well, Ben, neither one of us are going to matter in the 100 points because I think Christopher Bell breaks through and finally wins himself a championship.
Okay.
I know I said Larson's the best driver in the world, but he has shown many, many times that doesn't mean he's going to win the championship. And I think it is finally Joe Gibbs and Christopher Bell's time. Third time's a charm.
All right.
You guys are getting me convinced to do Christopher Bell. That was my pick last year was Bell, and I sat and thought long and hard about giving that back to Bell. But until I see that Ford is not dominant at Phoenix, I can't really take that. But that is our 2025 season predictions. I can't wait to be up 99 points and lose to a championship pick. That'll be so much fun. But let's go ahead and move on to our power rankings. We're going to check in every week with who we think the top 5. Now, you don't want to just do it based off of one race. There's momentum and whatnot. Right now, yeah, you want to base your top 5 off of the Bowman Gray and what you've seen in the duels. But let's go ahead and Ben, would you like to start?
Yes, sir. All right. So my power rankings are Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, William Byron, and Ryan Blaney.
All right.
Just first off, I was interested to see NASCAR released theirs yesterday or like 2 days ago. They went Reddick at 5, Hamlin at 4, Elliott at 3, Logano at 2, Blaney at 1. For me, I went Reddick at 5. Has to be top 5. The man was in the championship or won the regular season championship last year and will be a threat again this year. 4 for Byron. His 24 car is always going to be up there. It's always going to have momentum. Hendrick will have it there. 3, Christopher Bell. 2, Ryan Blaney. And 1, Kyle Larson.
So my power rankings will be very much off of momentum, and I get the momentum coming off a championship. But I went more in this sense of the momentum to start the season, because you can win a championship and not have momentum to start the season. And to be honest, I'm not sure Logano has the most momentum at this point, but I actually don't even have him there. I have Tyler Reddick at 5. I think he had a really good dual race and had a pretty good clash race as well. But the dual race, him and Bubba looking fast and just kind of running together from somebody who's not that good at super speedways, at least in recent times. I got Reddick in the 45 there in 5th. I got Cindric coming off his dual win and being the second fastest driver in qualifying. I have him at number 4. Honestly, he probably should be higher because not very often do you see somebody finish second in qualifying or first and second in qualifying at Daytona and start on the pole for their duel and win that duel. That does not happen very often, mostly because they just want to make sure they have that pole spot. But Cindric was confident and he got that win. And I think if he's running confident, you might have left the guy off our playoff bracket that we should not have. And I know, as I say that, I'm starting to regret my pick. Anyways, Chase Elliott, I have him after winning the Clash. I have him at number 3, just getting that win in him. He had a pretty decent dual race as well, so I'm confident he'll get a good finish at Daytona and build off of that. But at number 2, I got Bubba Wallace. I really like the vibes out of Bubba Wallace. He had a great top 5 race at that of in the Clash, and then won the first duel. I think that's some great momentum to start off the year. He always tends to start years off slow after the Daytona 500, of course. So here's to maybe a win. I seriously, if he didn't win the duel, I probably would have had him to be my pick to win. There's a little bad juju with dual winners and winning the race. So I don't know if I'll go with that. But Bubba is my number 2 in the power rankings. And then number 1, I got the pole sitter, Chase Briscoe, to start a season off with the fastest car in the field. It's a good way to start the year, and that's why I have him as my number 1 in the power rankings.
Can I ask a dumb question? The two of you obviously follow and have a better memory, especially you, Ben. When was the last time someone won the Daytona from the pole?
Yeah, that's a great question, Josh. It was actually in 2000. It was Dale Jarrett.
Yeah,
I knew Ben.
I wasn't around for that, but
That would have been
hearing about it.
If we were doing the Norse bench warmers, that would have been a good triple threat trivia.
Yeah, no kidding. But let's go ahead and do a little preview for the Daytona 500. I alluded that Bubba Wallace is not my pick to win, but he probably would have been otherwise. So I had the starting lineup pulled up here, and nope, that's still not it. Where did that go? It disappeared. But we do know that the pole sitter is Chase Briscoe. On the outside, it'll be Austin Cindric, and then Bubba Wallace in third. Yes, third. And then fourth will be that of Eric Jones, because he technically won that race, if you ask me. Yep. Yeah, so that's kind of that's what the first two rows are looking like. But who do you guys think are some of the favorites for this race? Not only because of their starting position, but because we know they're so great at the super speedways.
Let me see. I'm keeping an eye on Ryan Blaney, of course. I mean, he's obviously a great super speedway racer, though. I feel like he's definitely going to be a threat on Sunday, and he's come close to winning the Daytona 500 a couple of times. He's a two-time runner-up, and no matter where you go, rather if it's Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta, this guy is going to be a threat to the win, though. And I have a feeling, though, we're going to see a lot of him on Sunday, though. And I'm actually going to look at his Penske teammate Austin Cindric. He's another driver that we got to keep an eye on when it comes to super speedway races. I mean, obviously he runs good at Daytona. He's had a fast car in the duels. Yeah, I feel like those guys, they're going to be a threat on Sunday for sure.
I think the obvious name is Kyle Busch, and whether you like him or not, you want to see Kyle. You want to see Kyle finally pull it off. 20 years in the making time too. What can I say? And then the other guy is Alex Bowman. You mentioned it, Colton. Even though he's starting towards the back of the field, he could avoid the big one, hiding back there in the beginning. If people get a little greedy from the start, it'll be very interesting to see how that all works, especially with the pending weather. If they start the race and we get close to halfway, do teams get more aggressive if the weather starts coming in? So those are just two names that popped out to me instantly.
So one thing I will mention is that I don't know about Chevy. I'm not sure about what they have brought to the beginning of this season, because they're always the fastest. And I know that they're moving into a more control-based car that is not the fastest. So I understood that. But, I mean, Toyota looks bad fast. And we already know Toyota knows how to work together. And they're strengthened. They're getting numbers. It used to be you had 4 or 5 Toyotas. I believe the count is up to what, 7 now? 7 or 8? At least 7. So, yeah, and I think
3 of the 4 are starting in the top 4.
Yeah, I think Toyota is really where I'm feeling the vibes. But I mean, Ford's always going to be great at these tracks too, and it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. I think a favorite to look at is Eric Jones. I think he probably has a little more of a chip on his shoulder. He always has a chip on his shoulder, man. You want to talk about a guy who gets shorted everywhere he goes? That guy should still be running the 20, if you ask me. But it's not. It's just not how it is. And I think he's had a couple rough years with the 43, but it's not the driver. It's not Eric Jones. So prove it to me this year. Give me a Daytona 500 win. And we know he's great at these super two ways. Came really close a couple times. I have like 2 Talladega races in my mind right now where Blaney ended up winning, but Jones was like second or something like that. Like, I feel like it's Blaney wins those close finishes and Jones is the one that's on the butt end of it. But yeah.
You'd mentioned Toyota. There are 11 of them in this race.
There's 11
with the additions, because Jimmy and Truex.
I forget Legacy. I forgot completely. I was talking about Eric Jones and forgot Legacy was Toyota. So yeah, they got 11. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. Yeah, I think that's definitely something to watch out for. And underrated enough, I will say, in the Chevy camp is Chastain, who went from last to second within like a couple of laps in that second duel. Didn't end up that way. Ended up in 9th. Still a decent finish there. Or sorry, that was in the first duel. So maybe some Trackhouse speed. They usually do have those faster cars. And I think that's somebody to watch. But at the end of the day, Penske, has been very dominant at these tracks. RFK is really good at these tracks. They've kind of been quiet, but Busher does have a top 10 start. So those guys absolutely have to be mentioned. That's the beauty of Daytona. Kyle Larson could win it. He's not very good at these tracks, or just hasn't had the best luck, but he could win it easily. So anybody can.
That's what I was going to say. You mention it all the time. A lot of times at Daytona, it's a luck of a draw. You just got to survive the big one and then be in the running when they eventually throw the green, white checkered, because it's always going to happen that way.
Absolutely.
So that is the thing to, I guess, look out for.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Additionally, I would mention Corey LaJoie. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
Shunned by NASCAR, shunned by the Cup Series at least. There's a little bit of drama going on there because he could be in the championship-winning truck car if you want, or truck car. That is one of the sentences of all time. The championship-winning truck in the Truck Series, if he wanted to be, but he didn't. And hey, what better way to show everyone that? I mean, he did have his chance in the 9, but what better way to show everyone by getting a win in a Rick Ware race? Corey LaJoie getting Rick Ware Racing their first ever win.
Yeah,
one of the Daytona 500s of all time.
For sure.
I hope he does. Honestly, I think it'd be great. I think it'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
But we have. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, you're good. So, now that you mentioned Corey LaJoie, Colton, though, I mean, he's a driver that we obviously can't ignore, though, and he was actually one of the open cars that I was pulling for to make the Daytona 500, though, because if LaJoie, he made it last night, of course, though, but now that he made it, he's gonna be a threat on Sunday, because during his time at Spire, though, he was always a factor on these super speedways, and I feel like he's gonna be. We're gonna see him up front on Sunday, and looking forward to it.
I mean, he has a win at Atlanta, if not for this guy.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I honestly remember being pissed about that. But it's super speedway racing.
Yeah, so. I remember that race like it was yesterday. I was pulling for him so hard, and if Elliott didn't make that block, what could have been, right?
Right, of course.
Yep.
But I think it's time for us to move along to the final segment of the show. It is the Fast 5 picks. So I've alluded to it a little bit, but I'll go ahead and give the full rundown here. We're going to sit here and we're going to draft 5 drivers. Now, once let's say I pick Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott is now off the board, so you'll have to pick somebody else on that board. It works like that. It'll be a snake system draft. So Josh got to pick the first selection. He decided to go with the 3rd pick, so he gets those 2 back to back. Ben got the 2nd selection. This was decided by a wheel decide before the show. He gets the 1st pick, and I get the 2nd pick. So how the point system works: first place will get. If your driver wins, you'll get 20 points. If your driver gets the top 5, 15, top 10, 10 points, top 15, 5 points, and a top 21 point. If your driver finishes outside the top 30, you will get 0 points for that. But to be fair, honestly, 1 is pretty much 0 anyways. So also, additionally, we will pick a winner at the end of this. And if you pick the correct winner, that is a 30-point bonus to your score. So we'll have a nice graphic once all that gets going. But Ben, you are on the clock. Who are you taking with the 1st pick in the draft?
All right. I mean, obviously, lots to choose from. A lot of talented super speedway racers going into this Daytona 500. But I'm leaning towards Austin Cindric. I mean, he's got experience running up front at Daytona and just super speedways in general, though. And he looked fast in the duel. So give me Austin Cindric.
I was hoping he would slip a little bit, because a lot of times with Daytona, he was the you see the guys that are looking so fast early, they tend to fade, and people will see that. But that's a great 1st pick. I'm going to go with Bubba Wallace. I really like the vibes around him. I think it's pretty consistent that even if he doesn't win, he will find a way at the top at the end. He's pretty proven in that. So give me Bubba Wallace to give me at least a top 5, but maybe win.
All right.
For me, since it's back-to-back, sorry to do this to you, Colton. He's not getting back to you. Give me Alex Bowman. I mentioned that he has a chance to win it. I truly believe that. Starting in the back, hopefully can avoid the big one. and then move his way up through, and eventually Hendricks will win themselves back-to-back Daytona 500s. The other driver
should be back-to-back Bowman Daytona 500s in that case.
Oh, yeah.
We won't go there.
Very, very true.
We won't go there.
That's screwed.
Yeah, and then the other driver I'm going to mention is the guy who I said 20 years in the making. Wrong, not going there yet. Give me Brad Keselowski.
He said
Starting also in the back. I like his chances. Big speedway guy, always does well at super speedways. So go ahead and give me Brad.
I feel like a pretty easy one to take here. I'm sticking with Toyota. I like the speed they brought here early. This is a guy who has a couple Daytona 500s under his belt. Give me Denny Hamlin with the 5th overall pick in this draft. I feel like those are just Bubba and Hamlin can pretty consistently stay out of the mess and give me a good finish.
All right. For myself, my second pick, I'm going with Ryan Blaney. Like I mentioned before, he's going to be a threat this Sunday in this Daytona 500. Another great super speedway racer, always up front. Give me the 12 of Ryan Blaney.
And then you get another pick now.
I'll get another pick. Tough decision. I'm actually going with Todd Gilliland.
Okay.
Yeah, he like I mentioned before. Oh, say again.
Good super speedway driver there.
Oh yeah, definitely for sure. And like I mentioned before, though, he was in contention in last year's Daytona 500. We've seen flashes of him on the super speedways, and Front Row Motorsports, though, they're just in general, though, they're going to be competitive on Sunday, and they always bring fast race cars to Daytona, Talladega, and Atlanta. So give me Todd Gilliland, and also one of my upside drivers.
Yeah. I got the 9. I think he is another one that I don't know if he'll win, but I think he will be able to stay through the madness. He will be starting in the back. He's got a ways to get up there, but I think he always just has that knack of finding that top 10 finish. So just give me some points here. It's chaos. I can't really pick a winner out of the blue. So just guys that I have a feeling will finish the race. Oh God, that's going to age poorly, is it not? But Josh, what do you got with your third pick?
Now it's time. Pick
Okay.
number 3. 20 years in the making. Give me Kyle Busch.
There he
All
is.
right.
All right, pick 4.
And pick 4. This one's probably a little bit risky, but I can see. I'm gonna go Justin Haley.
Justin Haley.
Oh, you stole that one from under me.
I'm gonna go Justin Haley.
Yeah, good pick.
Always that 7. First off, that 7 always performs well, and it could have been LaJoie's reason, but that 7 always performs well at super speedways in Daytona. And Haley is a very solid super speedway guy.
Great.
So give me Justin Haley.
Great super speedway racer there. That's a great pick, man. Damn it. I want to go with I need a Ford on my team. Give me Chris Buescher. He's a great super speedway racer, but I feel like he kind of has a knack for if he's not finishing the top 5, he's in that wreck. So I do kind of worry about that, but whatever.
I'd be honestly, Haley and Buescher were the 2 I were debating, and I knew
Oh,
you
yeah.
would probably take Haley at 5, so I was like, you know what, I'll just go ahead and take him.
You know me too well.
Ben, your last 2?
All right. So I'm actually going with quick question real quick. Can we do open drivers or just full-time drivers?
Yeah, anybody's fun. Yeah,
Everybody.
anybody.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going with Corey LaJoie in the 01 for Rick Ware Racing. He did his job, raced his way into the Daytona 500. Like I mentioned before, a great super speedway racer. You can never count him out. Always runs up front. So give me Corey LaJoie. And my last one, I'm going with the 2023 Daytona 500 champion, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I mean, this is a guy we obviously don't see up front a whole lot, though. But when it comes to Daytona, Talladega, and Atlanta, he's always a threat to flirt with the win, though. And also, he's coming off momentum in the playoffs last year. He wasn't in the playoffs, though, but he won at Talladega. And I feel like with that win, though, they're going to look back on that data, and that's going to be beneficial going into this weekend to win his second Daytona 500.
Took Ricky right out of my mouth. That is But I think I'll be okay because I'm gonna go with. Never mind. I changed my mind as I was about to say it. Wait. Hold on. Michael McDowell's still on the board. Give me Michael McDowell. Good
All right.
Lord. What am I talking about here? I was about to take Joey. And then I remember Joey's usually the cause of the wreck, which makes him more likely to get involved in a wreck. So I'm not going to take Joey. Plus, why would I want Joey on my team? So, yeah. Give me Michael McDowell as my fifth and final driver.
Okay.
My fifth and final is a one-man car, and it seems to always be hanging around in Daytona. Give me Josh Berry into 21.
Ooh,
all right.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I
Nobody took the.
I feel like it's always hanging around, right? Like that 21 always finds a way.
I mean, Trevor Bayne won in it. That's all you need to know. It's got positive energy going that way.
Yeah, and
nobody took the pole sitter. Nobody took Chase Briscoe. I'll tell you why I didn't take him is because I hate the juju with just that pole position. I just feel like there's no way somebody who got the pole is going to win at Daytona. But
I mean, like I mentioned earlier, it's been since 2000. Dale Jarrett.
Yeah. Well, that leaves us with our winner picks. I guess it doesn't really matter what order we go in, but just for the fun of it, Ben, I'll let you go first since that was the order we were in.
All right. Oh, we're ranking them.
Who you got winning the Daytona 500?
Okay, sorry about that. I'm going with Ryan Blaney. I mean, always, like I mentioned before, always super speedway phenom. I feel like he's gonna make a lot of noise on Sunday.
I am going to go ahead and go with, if you can't tell, like I have like a pick in mind as I go into it, and then I start second guessing myself. I'll just stick with it. Joey Logano. I feel like that's just the big middle finger to me and all of us for not picking him on their team. So give me Joey Logano to win the Daytona 500. Hopefully,
to be honest, it's not a bad idea to do that because then it gives you an extra driver to throw out there. However, I can't make this pick and him win the race and me not have him, so I'm taking Kyle Busch. Busch finally gets it done. Because if it doesn't happen, or if it were to happen and I didn't pick him, I'd be pissed.
Josh, I think that pick was set in stone back in like April of last year. Like I feel like we had a talk on the bench warmers, and like that's when you decided that, or that's when it was decided. But yeah, so Kyle Busch, I took Joey, you took Kyle, and Ben took
Blaney.
Yeah, I can't. Brain not computing. It's been a long day, but I think that's all we got for the first episode of the Slide Job podcast. The first return episode. I've tried this twice before, but this is the one. This is the one, baby. We are proven podcasters at this point. So excited to be back, to be talking NASCAR week in and week out. So we will be back next week with all the fun stuff and recapping the Daytona 500. So be sure to tune into that. It'll be every Saturday at noon. Be sure to check that out. Check us out. And I think that's really all I got. Anything you guys want to plug before, or any last words you want to get in before the 500?
Let's go, Jimmy.
Let's go, Jimmy. But you didn't pick him on your team.
When you took LaJoy, I thought you were going to take him.
I thought Jimmy was going to be reserved for the last pick. I don't blame you.
I just have a feeling if I do pick Jimmy, he's going to wreck out. So my best guess
probably
is
going to wreck out either way. So they haven't. No.
I mean, I know that's the fate I've sealed by picking Chase. So
wouldn't it be ironic though if Truex finally gets it done?
It would be hilarious. It would. Yeah, I think it would be very.
Or even worse, if Briscoe wins. Poor Martin.
Yeah, that would be tough to see. But I will say, every time Chase has won, I've been wearing this hat. So I'll definitely be wearing this hat on Sunday. Maybe it's because I wear it every race, but it still has yet to be disproven. Anyways, that's all we got. So thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. I also will have some other stuff, probably not for a couple of weeks, but I am working on some projects for this channel, a new What If perhaps. And but yeah, thank you all for listening. Thank you, co-host, for coming on. I'm excited to start this new journey with you guys. Excited to see where this goes. And yeah, any closing thoughts from y'all?
I don't think so.
Nope.
Go JJ.
JJ Yaley? He's
No.
out. Oh, okay. All right. Well, raise hell,
Whole
praise
7
Dale,
time.
and we will see you all in the next one.